Rather lads, welcome back to the Cossy Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to brand new video. Manchester United nil, Arsenal 1 at the Old Trafford. Very difficult stadium for us to go to, and Arsenal pick up points when we needed to. And I think psychologically, it was a game that Mikel Arteta really approached very, very well. It was a psychological battle rather than a battle of quality. And you saw it. Man United played very well. They had the bigger parts of the possession. They had more shots on goal. Their passing accuracy was better. But in the end, Arsenal walking away with 3 points because Man United never ever looked like they were going to score. A win is a win. And in these games, in the last 5 games of the campaign, what you need to do is to pick up 3 points. You don't have to play well. You don't have to press a lot. All you've got to do is to play well. And I know many people out there are actually disappointed. I was looking at the messages on the WhatsApp group forum for the podcast, and most of the people were saying, "Because we are disappointed. We are not really, satisfied with that performance." Man United almost were the better side in that game. But then you've got to ask yourself one question: do you want to play well, or do you want the 3 points? Because Man United picked up, picked up a very good performance. And I think if you're a Manchester United fan out there, what you feel is that we were close to getting to Arsenal. But the truth is that they were very far away. Psychologically, this Arsenal team was prepared. We were prepared to match Manchester United's energy. We were prepared to match anything they would throw at us. And I never felt like Man United were really going to score. It always felt like Arsenal were the more dangerous team on the attack. That Martinelli shot, that Declan Rice shot, that Trossard goal. Those, I think 3 minutes into the game, the way we are in the penalty area, Saka missing a lot of chances, missing a couple of chances to lay it off for Kai Havertz. So it felt like Arsenal had come to do the job, and Manchester United had come to stop Arsenal from doing a job, which in the end, one team was successful and the other was not. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. Now, who was your man of the match? Because for me, it was William Saliba. I think William Saliba, again, Man United didn't have a lot to offer for me in terms of quality in the in the front areas, but Amad Diallo and Alejandro Garnacho, that is a combination that we have not seen a lot this campaign. The last time we saw that combination was against Liverpool in the FA Cup, and Amad Diallo did find a winner for Manchester United, and that's one of the reasons as to why they are in the FA Cup final this season. So Amad Diallo is a different animal, Garnacho is a different animal, and at some point in times, they were always going to throw some quality to you. And I thought Ben White really struggled in this game. I don't know if I'm right. I didn't see his offensive output that we usually see, and I didn't see his defensive brightness that he has had all year, or at least at the beginning of the year. We've not seen that kind of quality that we know Ben can provide. And Garnacho did him a couple of times, but William Saliba was always there, and for me, he was my man of the match. I don't have another contender. Honestly, I don't think any other Arsenal player, apart from Leo Trossard, I don't think any other Arsenal player deserves to be player of the match. So it's either Saliba or William Saliba. Let me know what you thought about, Leo Trossard or William Saliba. Let me know what you think about, the man of the match. Now, about the performance, I was not overly comfortable with the game. I was not 100% comfortable with watching Arsenal being, tossed around by this Manchester United side of Amrabat, Casemiro, Mainu. I wasn't really very happy. But what I wanted at the end was 3 points. Man City had already beaten Fulham, and they said that is going to change the dimension and the dynamics of this game. That puts you under more pressure. That puts you under very defined obligations and under very defined boundaries. You've got to win, and you've got to win in whichever way. And I think that's what Arsenal did. We went out there to pick up 3 points. Mikel Arteta, he sent out this team to mentally and psychologically deal with Manchester United, because you could see the job description into Manchester United's work. The job description was go and make it hard for Arsenal, go and compete with them. It's very, very dangerous for you to go to a club like Man United that are brutally wounded and Instead of them sitting in shape, trying to play, to park the bus, trying to play a low block, they actually open up. They try to play some football. They try to, win the ball, halfway the pitch. That's what they were doing. Amrabat yesterday, you've got to ask the question, why hasn't he played more games for Man United, right? So what I saw was a Manchester United side that was not willing to go down and concede 4 goals. What I saw was a Manchester United side that was not willing to go down and be humiliated and embarrassed by Arsenal at the Old Trafford. And that is one thing that Mikel Arteta got right. You don't go there to embarrass them, right? It only comes as a result of your work plan. But you don't go there to embarrass them. You go there to perform to the standard you have to perform at. You go there to pick up, 3 points. And that's what we did. You could see that in our job description. We were just doing everything enough. You look at the attack. How many times did we attack and you felt like, whoa, Arsenal are really attacking for 10 minutes? That didn't happen. The goal from Trossard, which we're going to talk about, the movement from Trossard is priceless. And I thought Trossard in the first half was absolutely, key for us. But the goal from Leandro Trossard comes from a mistake from Casemiro. And that shows you that Mikel Arteta knew this Manchester United side were always going to have a mistake in them. They're always going to have a mistake, and we were always going to wait for it. And it comes there. Kai Havertz does brilliantly, by the way, because if you look at that game very well, if you go back and watch the goal, he looks back and he looks at Casemiro. And what he does, instead of, because he's trying to come back into an onside position. But when he looks back and he looks at Casemiro, what he sees, he looks at Casemiro and Casemiro is walking instead of rushing back to get back onside. So you can see that he directs where the ball should be played. He points and he says, put the ball there, because Casemiro has played him onside. And the moment the ball is played, Kai Havertz does brilliantly, really brilliantly. Because the 3 things that I like about Kai, one, he's a very selfless player, but secondly, he's very intelligent as a footballer. The ball is played into him, drives into the penalty area, and at that point, he's surrounded by 3 Manchester United players, possibly, who could actually close him down. So you have Johnny Evans, who is a little bit closer to him, right? And then you have Casemiro, who stayed back, who's coming back to close him down. And I think the other player, is Diego Dalot. I think it's Diego Dalot as well. So you have 3 Manchester United players, trying to close Kai Havertz down. Now, he could do 2 things there. He could rush and take a shot, or he could wait a little bit longer for Leandro Trossard to make his run across the penalty area to the near post. And by doing that, he actually sucks in 3 Manchester United players. Casemiro is looking at him. Evans is looking at him. He's not engaging yet, but he's looking at him. And then you have Diego Dalot, who's springing back. And, of course, Aaron Van Bissaka, who's running towards Leandro Trossard. Those are 4 Manchester United defenders all around one player, Kai Havertz. And when he plays that ball across Onana's face, there is one player that can meet that ball quicker than Onana and quicker than Aaron Van Bissaka, and that is Leandro Trossard. That movement from Leandro Trossard is priceless for this goal. Priceless. And is he Arsenal's best finisher? Yes. Most clinical? Yes. Coolest finisher? Yes. He is. That goal highlights the importance of signing a player like Leandro Trossard. Experienced, that move. I don't think Saka makes that move. I've not seen Saka run to the near post like that. I want you to imagine the goal Saka scored. Does he move to the near post like that? He doesn't. Martinelli? No. He doesn't make that run. So it is Leandro Trossard, because of his experience, he knows that Kai Havertz is going to whip that across the penalty area. But how about the timing? Because if Trossard is a little bit later, he doesn't score that. Bissaka tackles it. If he's a little bit earlier, then he misses the ball. So I thought Leandro Trossard for the goal was absolutely brilliant. And in the first half, I kind of felt like Trossard was very good, especially, by the way, that our creative part, which is Martin Odegaard, surprisingly, Odegaard had a poor game. Guys, honestly, he had a very poor game, but either by his standards or by the standards of a number 10 in the Premier League. Because I look at the likes of Morgan Gibbs-White, I love number 10s. I really do love number 10s, and I watch teams that have number 10s more than teams that don't have number 10s. So you find that I've watched Spurs more than I've watched, probably an Aston Villa, because Villa don't play with a number 10. So I look at that game and I'm like, yes, Odegaard is not having a very good game. That is not the performance I would have expected out of him. But then Trossard steps up. He's more like our Ilkay Gundogan. He scored 5 goals in his last 7 games in the Premier League. Quality player, clutch player. So I don't want to hear any whining. I don't want to hear any, disgruntlement. I wasn't really satisfied with the performance. But in the end, it is the 3 points. It is the 3 goal difference that we need, right? Because if City are going to lose this title, they'll have to drop points somewhere. And if we go into the last day of the Premier League with a 3-point difference and the same number of points, all we need to do is win. If City beat West Ham by 4-0, and Arsenal beat Everton by 2-0, Arsenal win the title. So it's now down to the wire. We've done the job, which was take it to the wire, take it to the final day. Let the jury on the last day of the Premier League decide. And that's what we've done. I don't think Arsenal could have done anything more. I don't think Arsenal could have done anything better, in these remaining games. The one thing we could have done better is against Fulham. The one thing we could have done better is against Aston Villa, but that is gone. Now, let's do some player ratings for the boys. I kind of felt like let's start off with David Raya, right? David Raya in that game was very alive to every moment that happened. And I say during the preview that this is one of the games where your goalkeeper is not going to have a lot to do. I don't think Onana had a lot to do. But when you look at the Gabriel Martinelli shot, that should have been in the back of the net. When you look at the Declan Rice shot, if he doesn't meet that, that goes into the back of the net. And then he made around 2-3 good saves, Andre Onana. And Raya made around 2-3 comfortable saves and maybe one uncomfortable one, right? So he was up to the task. He was alive to everything that happened in that game. So I'll give him an 8 out of 10. William Saliba for me was a 10 out of 10. The only player who played at the standard we know Arsenal can. Like everyone seemed to... It's either we came in this game knowing Man United are not going to score against us, and they were never going to score against us. And I think my prediction was a 4-0, if you remember. And I said, I don't see this Man United side get any kind of joy against Arsenal, right? So, William Saliba, 10 out of 10. Gabriel, 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. I kind of felt like, again, he's one of the players that dropped in terms of quality. Ben White, for me, is a 5 out of 10. Yes, he went against Garnacho. Garnacho is in form, but you've been in form, Ben. You've been in form as well. As a defender, you're one of the players that have been really in very quality form. I wonder how he kind of dropped off like that. But I'll give him a 5 out of 10. Tomiyasu didn't struggle in this game, didn't do much in this game, 6 out of 10. Again, not one of the players that could have cost us a goal. Not one of the sides where Arsenal were likely to concede from. Now, in midfield, Thomas Partey against Amrabat. Amrabat came out on top. Amrabat came out on top in this midfield battle. And I think Erik ten Hag deserves a lot of credit. He deserves a lot of credit for this game, for his game plan. He knew that Arsenal were going to try to dominate the midfield. So what he did, he played Amrabat there instead of Eriksen, Mainu, and maybe Scott McTominay. And then he played McTominay there. So what those two do? Mainu is a ball progressor and is one of the best younger eights in Europe. But what McTominay and Amrabat do is they break up play very well and they are very physical. So you could see that there is a deficiency in Manchester United's attack, especially from the midfield. They don't have the quality you get from Odegaard, Trossard dropping into midfield, and Declan Rice in ball progression. But they can break play and they can work as hard as possible. So Partey lost that battle, but he was surrounded by McTominay and he was surrounded by Amrabat. So Partey, 5 out of 10. Declan Rice, again, it's one of those games where he's dropped a little bit. So I'll give him a 6 out of 10. He's dropped a little bit, not to disastrous levels, but to levels that not even a West Ham would actually benefit from him, right? So 6 out of 10. Odegaard, 5 out of 10. Like I said, dropped massively in terms of his quality. In terms of where we know he can play out, he dropped. Saka, 5 out of 10. For me, with Saka, he played 3 minutes in that game. 3 minutes in that game. The rest of the game, he ghosted. He ghosted. Now, he had the knock before coming into this game. We were told that he passed a late fitness test. And that's one of the things I don't understand with Mikel. You've got a Gabriel Jesus, you've got a Fabio Vieira, and you've got an opponent like Man United that you can pierce through, that you can, reeze apart. Why don't you play your Gabriel Jesus there? Why don't you play a fitter player, one who is fit to play, as compared to one that is not fit to play? Saka, 5 out of 10. Leandro Trossard, 9 out of 10. Clutch, the movement on the goal, I've talked about it. His ability on the ball, I've talked about it. And his intelligence. And him being one of the better players in that Arsenal team. Kai Havertz, 8 out of 10. For me, the intelligence of this guy is top. Like, really top. And he does so many things like David Raya that we cannot see. Like that Casemiro look over the shoulder. If it's Edin Ketia, he's running quickly to go back on side because he's a number 9. But because Kai is a hybrid of a number 9 and a midfielder, so he's got to look at where is the last man, because I need to explore space. I need to blindside Casemiro. Then he looks at Casemiro, and Casemiro is acres away from him, and it's like, play the ball to me. I'm going to run into this space, and we get the goal from there. So Kai, 8 out of 10. Mikel Arteta played a fool. And for me, for that, it's a 10 out of 10. Because he played a game where Man United thought they were going to have something, but in reality, they were not going to get anything in that game. So it's a 10 out of 10. Brilliant from the manager. Really, really brilliant. Gabriel Martinelli, when he comes on, I think we have seen some of the better performances from him. So I'll give him a 6 out of 10. Some of the quicker feet, some of the shots away, and he was trying to stretch that Manchester United line. So I'll give him a 6 out of 10. Gabriel Jesus, maybe a 6 out of 10 as well. And the referee, we could give him a 7 out of 10. There's nothing really to be concerned about with that game. I'll do the 5 things we learned. I will not have the live stream today, kind of preparing for, a big occasion. But of course, the live stream at 9 will be back very, very soon. Stay safe.